All right, so in this screen, you can see this is the GUI of 3ds Max. Before explaining about all the parts of this GUI of 3ds Max, let me tell you about this 3ds Max. This 3ds Max is 3D Studio Max, and this software is developed by Autodesk Media and Entertainment, and initially it was developed for DOS platform. That time it was named as 3D Studio, and later it was developed for Windows version. For Windows version, the name is 3D Studio Max. Uh, there are multiple movies made by this software like Spider-Man 3, G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra. Uh, there are numerous names. If I start naming it, it will take the total class of today's. So the main point is this is a powerful software. With this software, you can create any kind of model. Like in the screen, you see this is the car model made by this software 3ds Max. So here not only any kind of model, you can create any kind of animation cartoon character, any kind of character you can made here also. So you can understand that making any character, it's a tedious task. And not only that, you can uh, create movements, you can create animation of those characters, you can create uh, any kind of animation. And for our civil department or architecture department, we can create walkthroughs, okay, stunning realistic videos for our project, we can create that. So the powerful part of this software is polygon modeling. That is, with this polygon modeling process, you can create any kind of object like this. You see this object. This is a total single object, or all the parts you don't assemble here. You make it as a single object with that polygon modeling. Means say you just simply convert all the polygons of a 3D model and give all the polygons individual power like vertex, edges, faces, and with those you can convert and change any simple form to a complex form, and you change the form and you get your desired model. Okay, so this is all about this powerful software of 3ds Max. You can create a realistic photorealistic image, proper materials, accurate materials you can create here. You can place over the object. You can place all the lights to get all the material effect, shadows, and reflections. And according to that, you will get the output. So this GUI, graphical user interface of 3ds Max. So first option is your user account menu. Here you got this user account option. Okay, so this will help you to access your Autodesk account, and all the notifications you get it from here. And second option is workspace. According to the workspace, we get all the tools in this ribbon. Okay, within this ribbon, this is the 5 one is the ribbon, and according to that we get some tool settings. Okay, for modeling freeform is there, some tool settings, arrangement of tools are there. So according to the workspace, we got this in the ribbon. And three is our menu bar, main menu bar. Okay, and 4 is our toolbar, main toolbar. All the tools are listed in this toolbar. And six is your scene explorer. And here you got this 4 viewport. In this viewport, this scene can be controlled within this scene explorer window. this window is called Scene Explorer. You can change the visibility, you can control the layers of the object, you can change the display settings of those objects. So that can be controlled by this Scene Explorer. And this viewport layout here, default in this default condition, you got this quad viewport, four equal viewport. So that viewport layout can be controlled by this viewport control layout toolbar. Okay, so this total vertical is called viewport control layout toolbar. And right now we got in this screen you can see two options are listed, and gradually you start listing all the options and it will fill up all the total vertical toolbar. Okay, and here you see this time track is, or is this frame. Okay, so that is, you can say, your animation time tracker or the animation keyframe, you can say. All right, next, this option 10, this is called Max Script Mini Listener. With this Max Script Mini Listener, you can also perform your task. So for that you have to write a script, and in this menu bar you see this scripting option is there. So most of the task for animation, moving your characters, are done by this scripting option. So very little movement and small changes you can done. So for that you will save time and your energy, and you can perform with accuracy. So next is our status bar 11. This is our status bar. It will show you the status of your current movement of and the current status of your scene. It will be shown here. And 12, here you see this is isolate selection toggle, and this is lock selection toggle. Okay, then with this you can lock your selection so that you won't move your object unnecessarily. And isolate selection toggle means you will select all other objects, or you will hide all the other objects except the selection, so that you can easily do with this single click. Next, this 13 is your coordinate display. Here you will get the X, Y, and Z coordinate display. And 14, from this point to this point, is your animation control, animation key controls are there. So to control your animation frames, animation time, animation settings, you'll get this option to control that. And 15, this is our navigation control. In this scene, in the viewport, to navigate, zoom in, pan, orbit around, and maximize the viewport. So all of these options are available here. So these tools are called your viewport navigation tools. And this option 8, this option is called your command panel. This option is called command panel. And this 9, this is your viewport. This is your viewport. So this is all about the GUI of this 3ds Max software. Let's jump into the software itself. We will know how we can start our modeling and everything. How, so when you will let me share the 3ds Max screen. The 3ds Max screen is visible, right?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So right now you see this is the main bar, main menu bar. This is the toolbar, and this is the ribbon. This ribbon is currently minimized to the tabs only, so that you can click on here and show full ribbon that you can do. Okay, so that you can minimize again. All right, so
Excuse
current,
me, sir.
yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I guess it is not visible for me.
Okay,
I Yeah,
are
right now.
okay,
Right now
okay.
it's visible. Thanks.
Everyone having the smooth presentation, or is there lagging?
Yeah, it is smooth, sir.
It's
Okay,
fine, sir.
No problem.
okay, okay. Thank you, guys. All right. So here you see, this is the ribbon. So you can minimize the ribbon, and if you are working with this ribbon, so you can uh, change it to show full ribbon, and it will show you all the tabs and all the tools. So modeling, if you are doing with poly modeling, so according to that you will get these options. Okay, so this is the ribbon, and here you got this viewport, and this is the command panel. Okay, and this is the keyframe, this is your status bar, this is your coordinate display. See, I'm moving the mouse pointer and it's changing, right? And these things we will about this animation keys, we will see this later actually. uh, when we will apply this animation, we'll create animations with these keys. We will know that later. And these are for your zoom, pan, and navigation. Okay, and here you see this scene explorer is not available, right? Scene explorer is not available. So for that, you go to this tool. If you need this scene explorer, you can click on it, and this scene explorer will be visible. Okay, so here is also this zero layer is the default layer. So with this zero layer we generally create, and if you are creating your objects with layer, if you need to create with layers, so that also you can do. You can create new layers. So we will not create with layers, and these things will not go into that much of depth. We can generally create our model. Okay, so let me minimize this ribbon. We will not work with ribbon. Here we got this four viewport layout, four equal viewport. The top left one is set to top view, and all the view uh, visual setting, your visual style is wireframe, and these things, your visual quality is set as standard. You can set to high quality. So and the right top right corner is set to front view, and the other thing are same. This visual style is wireframe, and the visual quality is standard, and the bottom left one is set to left view, and the right bottom one is set to perspective view, where you got to see this three axis, three dimensions together. Okay, so you can change this viewport layout from here. This is your viewport layout control tab. So from here you can change it. So this is right now quad 4. Okay, you click on this arrow and you can choose from this options, all the options. Okay, so like 12 options are available. So from these 12 options you can choose whichever you like if you are working with this kind of things, you can have one particular viewport maximize. So here you can set to like perspective. So these are your shortcuts. Perspective, to change your perspective you can simply press P, and you go to your home view and you got to see perspective. You press T, you get back your top view. If you press F, so you can switch into front view. If you press L, so that if you want to back view, so for that B will not work. So for that VB, you have to press VB together. Okay, and same like that. Uh, like yeah, if you want to choose right,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, go on.
Sir, these are the predefined commands.
Yes, predefined keyboard shortcuts.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Okay. So if you want to switch to right view, so for that VR is the shortcut. So okay. So here you got this. See, suppose bottom is not mentioned here, back is not mentioned here, right is not mentioned here. So for that you go with V, and V is for view. Okay. So see, if I press view V, and then you can choose L also, VL also, VB, VT also. From that you can switch your view. Okay, and for camera, that is C is the camera view. So according to that you can set your layout according to your working style. You can set your viewport layout here. If you need to set like top, so press T, here front, and here left. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so if you are working like this, so you can set your visual style and your viewport like this way. Okay, all right, so you can change it from here. Okay, you can change this viewport layout from here as well. So suppose you need to change that viewport layout. This, suppose you are not getting this viewport layout, control tab. So here you see, this is your viewport control menu here at the top left corner of your activated viewport. So how you identify which viewport is currently active? You see, this is currently active with this yellow border of this viewport. So there you go to this viewport control menu, and here you got this configure viewports. Okay, and there you change everything, your display performance, your about this background. So this is for particular this viewport about this. Okay, so you can change the layout from here as well. All right, and then you apply, and okay, all right. Now let me go with this customize menu, and there you will get preference option. Okay, so what to choose in the preference? So in the general condition, it is everything is all right. You can go to this viewports, and there is nothing to change so more. Just what you can see, like rendering options is right now not into. We don't have to look into these things. Okay, so right now what we have to look into this, that files. What should be set in this file handling? So auto backup should be enabled, because you don't need to suppose if there is any fatal error or any power failure is there. So for that you won't lose your file, right? And here you can choose the file path. What would be the default file path? So you can choose it from here. Okay, and your auto backup is enabled, and what will be the how many number of auto back files will be there? So this is the number, and what is the backup interval? After 5 minutes it will back it up. Okay. Yes, wanna ask something? Hello? Any question? Okay. So one more thing, that is you can choose this convert local file paths to relative. Why we choose this convert local file paths to relative? Because in this project, I will apply some materials and those materials are saved in my particular folder and that has some path. But when you send your project to another laptop or another PC or another system, there that file will be opened, but the path will be changed, right? But according to that path it will take it, so that will be relative. So that's why we choose this. Okay. And backup on save, that can be set. Increment on save, so increment on save means whenever if you save it, first time you have saved it and again you have saved it, so it will add an increment number like 0.01 or 0.1 or 1. It will add up. So suppose when you started you want that file also, when you ended you want that file also as a separate file, so so that you can compare, or in the each and every changes you want to know. So for that you can select this increment on save and you will get all the saved files individually. Okay, when you saved each and every time you saved and all the files you will get it individually and separately. So for that we choose increment on save, but generally we don't use it. For this purpose we can choose it. Okay, compress on save. All right, that would be selected. That's the thing, and click on OK. And next go to customize. Now let's know about unit setup. Okay, so unit, if you want to work with meters, millimeters, centimeters, so that you will choose metric. Okay, and from here you will choose the unit. All right, and you can choose US standard as well for inches and feet. For units like feet and inches, you will choose US standard. And custom, you can create your own unit. Okay, you can create your own unit with the particular value, and you can set here inches or feet. Okay, all right, and you can choose generic unit. So generic unit is equal to system unit. So whatever is set in the system unit, it will be equal to that. So in the generic units, what if it is set as generic unit, in the by default it is equal to 1 unit is equal to inches. So you can change it to that. Okay, one in unit is equal to 1 inches. So if you set generic unit, so whatever there won't be anything unit shown beside your value, it will be taken as 1 unit. Only the unit value will be taken, but that will be equal to inches. Okay, so suppose if you are creating 12 units, so that means it is equal to 12 inches. But you can also change it, so there is nothing fixed. You can change that 1 unit is equal to 1 meter, 1 kilometer, that you can change it as well. Okay, so you can basically say that generic unit is your arbitrary unit. Okay, so be specific. So for that you choose either metric or US standard, that will be better. Okay, metric I generally choose and work with millimeters. And for lighting units, we Indian work with international. If you are working with any American project, so for that you will choose American. All right, so international is okay, and it is done. And there you start After this, you will start working, and let me show you with this quad viewport is right now set, and this is top, front, left, and perspective. This is right now. Okay, and here we got this command panel. In this command panel, we got this 6 tab. So first tab is to create. This is create tab, and under this create, this is currently geometry is right now selected. So whatever you need to create, you have to come to this tab, and this tab will allow you to create something. Like if you want to create any model, if you want to create light, if you want to create camera. Okay, so this kind of things you can get from this create tab. Okay, and after creating your model, if you want to modify something, so for that this modify tab is there. Okay, if you want to modify the parameters, if you want to modify it with any other modifier, so there are some modifier are there, like if you want to bend it, if you want to smooth it. Okay, so there are multiple modifiers are there, so we'll look into some modifiers. What are the uses of those modifiers? We'll look into that. Okay, so that is this two tab will we will work on these two tab mostly, and then this hierarchy tab is there. This is mostly for animation purpose, but here we also can do something like to change this gizmo, or according to that gizmo we will change the object position. So that can be done through this hierarchy key. So we will look into that also. So which one is called gizmo? So here you see this, when this object is selected right now, this object is right now selected. If it is not selected, this 3 axis is not showing. Okay, so right now this select object is currently active, means this object is right now selected, and there is some move, rotate, and scale. This transformation, these are transformation tools. Okay, move, rotate, and scale. So what is the shortcut, keyboard shortcut to activate move? When you have selected, you have to press W to activate move. If you want to activate rotate, then press E. If you want to activate scale option, then press R. These are the shortcuts. So when you choose any of this transformation tool, okay, from this 3 option, move, rotate, and scale, so you will get this gizmo. This is called gizmo, Gizmo. This is called gizmo. These show the 3 axis positive direction. What it shows, it shows the positive direction of the 3 dimension or 3 axis, X, Y, and Z. So red color is for X axis, green is for Y axis, and blue is for Z axis, that you can see. And this is set according to the coordinate system, Okay, so here you see this is this coordinate system is currently set according to the view. Okay, so here you see this view is right now perspective. So there I am getting 3 axis shown, right? But here in the left screen, I'm getting this with this gizmo is showing according to the view, that is left, and here is also like that, right? Top is also in this top view. I'm getting this gizmo like this, X and Y, and here in front, right? So if I change it to screen or anything, if I change, so according to that it will work. So let me change it to like if I move it. Okay, so let me before showing this coordinate system, let me show you this move, rotate, and scale option. Okay, so here you see this gizmo is for transformation. So right now move gizmo is selected. So with this move gizmo, you can transform this object, position of this object, you can transform it. So if you select this X of this gizmo, X axis of this gizmo, see this X is right now highlighted in yellow color. That means it is right now select, and you can see it in both top and front view also, right? So if you click on it, so it will only move X positive and negative direction only. Okay, same like that, if you click on the Z, it will move only in the positive and negative direction of Z, right? So same like that for Y. And here you see this plane is there. This plane, when I'm clicking on this plane or placing the mouse pointer on this plane, this two axes of this plane is being highlighted, right? Y and Z. So this is YZ plane or ZY plane. Right now, if I click on it, that means I can move this object along Y axis and Z axis, both Y and Z axis. In that plane, I can move both in positive and negative direction, right? See, Y and Z, Y and Z. Okay, I cannot move. You can see in the top front direction and left there, you can see that it can only be moved in Y and Z, can only be moved in Y and Z, right? Okay, so same like that, you can choose other axes. Okay, to switch between axes, we have some shortcuts as well. For X, we have F5. Okay, F5 is the shortcut. So, and then for Y, we have F6. For Z, we have F7. Okay, and to switch between planes, we have F8. F8. Okay, see, my mouse pointer is still, I'm pressing F8 key to switch between the planes for this gizmo, right? Okay, and if I press F7 for Z, F6 for Y, F5 for X. Okay, and after that, so right now if I have pressed F5, X axis is selected, and we have F12 for transform type in. Transform type in window allows you to type the exact value for your transformation. Right now move is selected, so it's showing you the move transform type in. If I am selected with rotate, see, I am going to press E. So this is right now the rotate gizmo. Okay, this is right now the rotate gizmo, and the x-axis handle is showing in a red color, green axis handle is means that is y, and blue for Z, right? So now if you press F12, that is your transform type in window, right now it's showing rotate transform type in. If you press anything, it will if you press the values, so it will rotate in that axis, right? And if you press R for scale, and then if you choose F12, so that will help you to scale with proper value, right? So let me show you with W. Right now this move gizmo is right now selected, and if I press F12 with this move transform type in, and there I can give it absolute world and offset world. So absolute world mean that will count from the 0, from this origin, it will count the total value. Okay, and the offset, it will count from the current position. Suppose you want to change the Z value. So right now this is 249.731. If I add in this 20, and if I press enter, so here it will be added, but the offset is being counted, being calculated from this current Z position. Okay, and if you added anything in this absolute, so that will be calculated from the 0 origin. Okay, see, this is right now 269. Okay, but here if I press 20, see, okay. Okay, so let me place on the origin. Okay, here you see this base point is right now set on the origin. Okay, now you see how I can rotate around this screen. So for that, what I'll do, I'll press and hold Alt key and my mouse scroll button together, and then I will move my mouse. Okay. All right. Alt and mouse scroll button together, holding it, and then move your mouse in that particular direction to rotate your screen or tumble your view. Okay. Now, if I want to rotate, then I can rotate with precision. So for that, I will choose rotate transform. So in y-axis, I want to rotate 90 degree in y-axis. See, I have rotate. Okay, not I want 45. So I can rotate in y direction 45, in z direction 45. I want to rotate. Okay, see. All right, so this way I can rotate with precision. Okay, now if I press W means the move gizmo, and here you see it's not, the gizmo is not showing according to the object alignment. It's not showing, right? It's according to the current coordinate. For that, what I can do, if I need to move, suppose if I want to move at this 45 degree according to this object, this face is showing this direction. In this direction, if I want to move it, so for that I cannot move in that direction, right? I cannot move in that direction. So for that, what I can do, I will do like local. Okay, means according to this object, this is the local object, and according to this it will set. Okay, so that is local, and right now see, this is facing the z direction. So right now I can move according to along this direction, according to this object. Okay, so for that I can change it. And suppose I have this object also. Okay, suppose I have this object, and right now this is the local. Right now this is the local, but I want to move. When I will select this, I want to move in that this object, this box, the first box direction. So for that, what I can do? For that, I can choose this pick, and I will select this as pick. So according to this picked object, this coordinate will be aligned, and it will work according to that. Okay, here you see, now I can move to that direction. You see? Okay. So this is how we can control according to our work. Okay, so you can rotate it, you can scale it, So generally we set to view. Okay. So according to the view, it will be set. But if you choose screen, there is another option that is screen. So that screen means towards the screen, towards this screen or towards the viewer, the Z will be pointed out. Let's see. Okay. Here you see this is the current active viewport, and in that active viewport, if you click on this as an active viewport, the Z will be pointed towards the screen or towards the viewer through that active viewport. Okay, and if you choose world, so according to the world coordinate system it will set. So generally you will see according to the right, according to the world coordinate system it will set. Okay, so either you set to world or view. Okay, so this how we will set our coordinate and we will work. Now let's know about this, how you can maximize this viewport. Suppose you want to see this here in 3D view, you want to get the maximum of this view. So for that, Alt W is the shortcut. For that, the activate viewport will be maximized. The activate viewport will be maximized. Okay. Now in this create, we are currently in this geometry option, and here we have this standard primitives and extended primitives. Primitives means predefined geometric shapes. Okay, so in the standard primitives we will get some very basic geometric shape model. Okay, so here you see this box, cone, sphere, geosphere, cylinder, tube. These are very basic geometric shape. But in this extended primitives, we will get some complex geometric shapes. Okay, so for that, let me show you standard primitives. Go to standard primitives and box. And here you see you are creating normally from one corner to another corner, and then you give it a height. I hope you have done AutoCAD 3D, right? The same process to create the box. Okay, but here we also can define that this will be a box, means that the length with height will be different, or that will be same. So for that we can choose cube option. So that was also available in AutoCAD 3D. Here we get it separately in command panel like this. If you choose this creation method, so for that go to creation method, and right now this, if you create, so that will be, see, the length, width and height is being changed. Okay, at same time. All right, so that you can create. Now suppose you I am creating, always I'm creating at the XY plane. So XY is the general, XY generally is set as a working plane, right? So I'm always creating the XY plane, on the XY plane, right? But I want to create according to this face, and I want to extrude along this face. So how I can do this? So for that, if I check this auto grid option here, auto grid option, it will work like dynamic UCS in AutoCAD. You remember dynamic UCS option in AutoCAD? So it will work like that. Now see, I can create over this face. Okay. All right. As because this is set as cube, right now you change with box, specify the area, and then give it a height. Okay, so that will be done by this auto grid option. Okay, so this is a simple box, cone is there. Okay, Now cone, go to cone, and here you got this center option or edge option. Okay, so from edge to edge you can define edge. So for circle, edge means you are specifying with diameter endpoints. Two diameter endpoints you specify. It is same like circle 2 point in AutoCAD, right? Go to edge, and this AutoCAD auto grid I will off. So see, from edge, from this the point you mentioned, that is the first edge, and this is the second edge, means the diameter endpoint. Okay, and then you are specifying the height and then the top radius. Okay, what will be the top radius, and according to that you will get the either a custom cone or a simple cone. Okay, now this way you can create all of this. These were available in AutoCAD as well, this sphere. So what was not available in AutoCAD, that is geosphere, teapot, plane, and text plus. So let's look into these things. Okay, so let's create a geosphere. Okay, so I hope you have created sphere in AutoCAD, and let me create a geosphere. And what is the benefit of creating a geosphere? What is the benefit of creating a geosphere? So here you can change the geodesic base type. Geodesic base type means that particular shape, this total sphere, total concrete volume of sphere has been created. So according to that you got this. So for that, if I change that to visual style wireframe, okay, then you can see it properly. All right, so for that, see, I'm not getting that parameter option. So for that, when you create it, and after creation, once you can change the parameters, and if you release or if you select any other object, then you have to go to modify option and then select this. Then again you can modify this. So if you change the segment, here you see. Okay, so this is right now geodesic base type is set as tetra, and this is octa. Okay, this is octa, and this is ecosa. All right, and according to that, within this radius, this will be the base type within this segment. Okay, and according to that you get the shape. All right, and if you deselect the smoothness, so I think here not get that much of effect. Okay, so here you change this options. Okay, you can make it as hemisphere as well. You can make this as hemisphere, and then you can change it like this, so you get some different object. Okay, you get some different object, different kind of object. You can get it from this geosphere.
Sir, what is use of this geosphere? Like these parameters tetra, octa, and icosa. What is use of this?
It depends upon depends on the view. Sorry, modular. Most of the time we create with this geospheres like the disco light of or that kind of lights we can create with this geosphere. Okay, So here, yes, here modeling is not limited to any particular object or some kind of objects. It totally depends on the modeler or on the creativity of the modeler. It can be modified into some other objects, you know. If you can convert to editable poly is there, then you will get the freedom of converting this object into any other form. So that totally depend on the modeler. So there is nothing limited that you can only use this object to as a this model or as only this kind of model. That is not particularly limited. So this is about geosphere. Now you can modify with the scale as well. So here you see you can scale like this. Okay. So this is particularly in that axis you have scaled it. In Z axis you have scaled it. In X axis you want to scale it. Only in X axis it will be scaled. And in Y axis if you want to scale it, so you can scale it. Okay. And if you place your mouse in the middle of the scale, so then it will be equally scaled. As because I have changed it right now according to that shape, it will be equally scaled. All right, now let me change it. Now you see it will be equally scaled. Okay, from middle. Now suppose you want to change it to this icon is right now mean is uniform scale. There is non-uniform scale option is there. The second option is non-uniform scale and the third option is squash. So how you get that option? You left click and hold the left click. Left click and hold the left click on scale icon and you will get this option. So if you choose that, so now see the middle is not being highlighted anymore. That means it is right now uniform scale. You can do uniform task, uniform scale. If you go to this middle, you see it will be scaled uniformly. See this all these axes are being highlighted, right? You can scale it uniformly and generally you scale it non-uniformly, and that means when it's being highlighted, that means you generally in by default you generally uniformly scale it. And what does this squash means? Squash means if you increase in particular axis, the other two axes will be decreased. If you increase in one particular axis, the other two axes scale down. Okay, will be scaled down. Let me show you. See, here you see, if I'm changing it, see other axis Z being scaled down, right? And if I'm decreasing in this X axis, now Z being increased, right? So that is your squash. Okay. Now let me change this visual style to default shading where you got this color. Now let me create teapot. So if I choose auto grid, so I can place over this. Okay. And right now see this teapot is right now active. So if you right click on the screen, you exit from the creation mode of this object. Okay. To exit, you simply right click on the screen. Okay. And here you see name and color. You can change the name and the color you can change. Okay. You can change the color. Okay. You can change the name as well. You can change it to pot. Okay. Now you see, go to modify option and teapot parts are also can be hidden. So if you want to hide this spout option and this lead, this can be as a cup, right? And if you hide this handle and then you scale it like this way, it can be a flower vase, right? So here these are your primitives can be converted into different shapes, different models. Okay, so next is your text plus. So here you can specify the text here and the font and your bold, italic, underline, that can be specified. And right now this is set as automatic. You can set that according to this plane it will be aligned, right? So if I specify xz, so it will be created along the xz plane. So here let create. Okay. Now here you see created along this xz. Okay. All right. Now you can add some modifiers to this, like you can extrude. We have this modifier, go to this modify and this modify list, click on it and EX, you will get this extrude option. And here you can change the amount of this. Okay, and you can increase, if you see in the wireframe model, you can increase the segments. You can increase the segments. When you can increase the segments, if you ever want to smooth this object for better effect of your materials, so for that you can increase the segments. So even further more increase, so that can lag your system as well. So that you have to remember that increasing segments shouldn't be unnecessarily more. So for that it will affect the efficiency, it will lag the system. Okay, go to default setting. Very simple things, you can easily change it. So I suggest you that go with each and every primitives, and there with this parameter, changing each and every parameters with the different combination of these parameters. I suggest you guys to work with these parameters, sorry, primitives, and changing different combination of these parameters. Okay, you will get different results of a single object, can give you different results with different combination of parameters. Now go to extended primitives. So extended primitives has some complex shapes. So here you see chamfer box. Chamfer box, when this box, the corner will be smooth, that you will get by chamfer box. So you create a box normally and then you chamfer the edges. So for that you generally move your mouse. Okay, so how you create that? You from you specify one corner point, holding the click, you drag to the other corner or to the opposite corner, and you release the mouse, and releasing the mouse you drag up to the height and click it, and after click you move your mouse. Okay, you generally move your mouse, or else you can click, you can go to this fillet edge segments, and your fillet, that will help you. So if you change the fillet radius, see, fillet radius, and more smoothness, see, the more edge, more segments for curve, you need at least 6 to 12 segments for better smooth curve. Okay, here you see we have 1, 2, 3 edges. So see, some sharpness are still there. So if you increase the segments, that will be very much smooth. Okay, so minimum 6 for smooth curve. This is about chamfer box. Okay, you can see, you can uncheck this smoothness. So even after that, so facets means this division, all the small parts of your face, the division is called facets. So the facets will be highlighted if you uncheck this smooth option. Okay, all right. So same like that, these options are available here. Okay, so simply you can do this, and you can with this transformation tools and this coordinate system, I suggest you guys to apply all these tools. Okay, play with these tools, you will get different results. Now let me tell you about this selection region is there. Okay, so selection region, suppose I want to select multiple objects at a time. So for that, here you see this this creating a rectangular window, right? And within this rectangular window, and when out of that rectangular window, the objects are being selected. Okay, so here this is right now set as crossing. This selection is set as crossing. So that's why even after that, some objects are still out of this window, but it's only crossing. It's only crossing the object. It's like the green window selection in AutoCAD. Okay, so then this object are being selected. But if I change it to window, then the object which are covered within this window, those objects will be selected only. See, this object is selected only. So for that, you have to switch with window or crossing, whatever is required. So you have to choose that, either window or crossing. Okay, and whatever shape you need. So for that, this selection window option is there. Okay, selection region option is there. So for more options, left click and hold it. Okay, so if you want circular option, so you will get circular option. Okay, circular region, you will get that circular region. Okay, and if want like a polygonal selection, okay, so like this polygonal selection is there. So this kind of selection region is if you needed. So for that, this now this is a lasso selection. Those who know for Photoshop, they will find it lasso selection. And last option is spray. So that's very much interesting, like get some spray effect. See, so that kind of selection can be done with this. Okay, all right, so this is for today. I hope you got the basic idea, and tomorrow we will know some advanced modeling part and some more features about modifying these simple objects. We can create some sofas, chairs with this simple standard primitives and extended primitives, combining all of this. So that needs some little bit of thinking and idea. Okay, guys. So this is for today. If you have any questions, so you can ask me.